It's absolutely unimaginable, but it is the reality. Okay?
Hello, guys and gals. Me, Mutahar. Today, we're talking about a really bad idea. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know that I have always talked about privacy on this channel. And for me, privacy is very important. One of the things we're looking at today is the ESRB, okay? Because they've come up with a legendarily bad idea, in my opinion. Now, for those of you who don't know, video games come with age ratings, right? So some games are E-rated, some are T, some are M-rated, like this one, because it's got blood and gore, intense violence, strong language, sexual themes, and the use of alcohol, okay? That's not for kiddos. Now, you know and I know when we were kids and GTA Vice City dropped, their mom and dad went to the store to buy it, simple as that. Nowadays, the ESRB wants to...
Which was bullshit, let me just say. Basically, this will make it so that your online activities are trackable back to your offline address. I mean, your online activities already are trackable and traceable back to your offline address. I don't know why people don't realize that. It's called your IP and your cell tower that it's pinging off of, and everything is already accessible. This just like makes it easily accessible. It makes it more legal to be able to just like draw this information. And also, it opens you up to additional attacks, especially as it pertains to like doxing and whatnot. You already don't have a lot of privacy, but at least it's a little bit more complicated. It's a little bit more complicated to like figure all this stuff out. You certainly still can, and the government absolutely can. However, in this situation, you will make it easier for bad actors to basically access this as well. It just makes that kind of doxing process more efficient. Can you imagine having your fucking ID and your address, your home address, be easily accessible by every website? You don't fucking know who's going to be able to trace it. You don't know how protected that information is. It's going to make clicking on every single website. MAC addresses and IP aren't legal proof. IP addresses aren't legal proof of identity. I know, I'm just saying, like, people were talking about how they can pinpoint your location or something, when in fact, like, you can have a different address on your ID than the one you actually live on as well, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Yeah, in Alabama, missing woman case, the sheriff had all the Google searches that proved that she was fake and being kidnapped. Like, this is why people don't use Facebook gaming. They don't want to shitpost on their government name. Yeah. SB2 is like that, is not needed by any corporation unless for tax purposes. Storing that information is super risky. Yeah, I don't like giving that. No, I do not like giving this level of information to every single fucking website that you access, when we know that all of these websites, some of them are barely good at like keeping your fucking password encrypted. You know what I mean? Literally all the case in Sweden. All I need is your name, age, and city to find your address and occupation. Literally already the case in Sweden.
Implement facial scanning technology to check people's age. They've sent this to the FTC, and there's been a bit of misinformation around this, so I wanted to look past the headlines for everybody and just get down to the real nitty-gritty of why this is, in my opinion, not a good idea. So, for instance, the FTC has been told by the ESRB that facial age estimation technology works like this. Basically, the user grabs a photo of themselves, not a selfie, but a live facial check, which they're using as the facial scanner company in this case. And what they will do is they will check an estimation of your age. It is an entire 38-page post that they've actually made. So
I have to keep pushing her from underneath me. She's like always underneath me. Bro, the state of Louisiana leaked the entire state's socials because we need it for a driver's license. Imagine trusting anyone to hold anything. Yeah, I don't like that at all.
The way that it works, according to their actual like white paper over here, you can see this person, they detect your face. The face is detected to an image and reduced to pixels. Each pixel is assigned a number that the artificial intelligence can understand. The numbers are computed by a neural network that has been trained to recognize age by looking at millions of images of faces, right? And then the AI finds a pattern in the numbers and produces an age. Now, they have said that this is scarily accurate. For instance, facial age estimation is accurate. It estimates that someone is an adult 99.97% of the time. Facial age estimation is effective. An average 35% of users in the EU and UK who attempt to prove they're adults are rejected for being under the age threshold. Facial age estimation is private. It requires no collection of identity or payment card information, and no images are stored. We'll get to that in a little bit. So generally, the idea going on forward over here is this is a COPA VPC method, which a child, for instance, visits an online service. So here they've actually detailed how they deploy this stuff, okay? So for instance, a child visits an online service and is presented with a neutral age gate. So basically, how old are you, kiddo? Back in the day, we used to just say, yeah, we're 99 years old. They let us into the site, okay? Easy as hell. Operator, so basically the service in this case, collects a parent's email address from the child. Hey, kiddo, you're under 13? What's your daddy and mommy's email address? You give them the address. Operator sends a direct notice to parent pursuant to section 312.4. Dad gets the email. Hey, yo, your kid's trying to access the service. Are you cool? And then, of course, you go down and do it. The parent provides relevant permissions for the child. Operator informs parent of the requirement to verify they're an adult. So this is actually a way to beat the entire idea. So basically, if a child was asked, hey, give me your parents' ID address, back in the day, we just used to give a burner email that we would also have access to.
Also, what the fuck are you going to do if you're like, you look young? You know what I mean? You're just, sorry.
Pretend to be the parent and get in. So what this is trying to do is a parent says, hey, listen, to prove that I am over the age of 18, 25, whatever, I'm going to give you facial age estimation checks. So a parent is basically told how to do it. They put their phone up. The phone basically does a facial check. It checks if the person is actually.
The bill would also place a legal duty on platforms to prevent matters that pose a risk to physical and mental health of a minor, which is likely to lead to a crackdown on content about sexual health, information on substance abuse, etc. Oh, 100%. Like no more LGBT content in red states, maybe even in blue states without parental supervision, depending on if your parents are conservative or not. And also no more making LGBT decisions.
Alive, you know that they're not like some selfie that the kid is showing. That gets sent to a server. The server confirms their age estimation and either gives a yes or a no. That's pretty much how this is going down into. There was a lot of misinformation from some people where they were like, oh, if you buy an M-rated game like GTA 6 whenever it drops, are you going to be able to access the game or will it require a facial check? No, this is literally a system designed for verified parental consent, meaning that a parent who's being tested has to prove that they're actually above the age of being a parent. You know what I mean? Even the ESRB cleared this up too. Basically, they said that there was a lot of misinformation from a lot of articles. They basically made it sound like kids were being scanned into it, when the reality of this is not necessarily the kids being scanned, it's actually the adults who are the parents of said children. So even the ESRB says any images or data used for this process are never stored, used for AI training, used for marketing, or even sent to the operator. The only piece of information that is communicated to the company requesting VPC is a yes or no. So basically the algorithm will tell you this person's over the age or they're not over the age. And again, it's designed that before you collect any information from the child, the company would request that the parent of the child provide their consent using a live facial scan, which, as they say, is not a selfie, meaning that you actually have to have a...
I'm scared because I feel like you could easily sell this bill to like every fucking panicking parent by being like, you can monitor all of your children's activities online. This gives you better tools to combat sex trafficking that happens literally everywhere and every day, all the time. And then the very likely result is that you need to do a fucking face scan to purchase a $5 subscription to avoid the top of the hour ad break. You know what I mean? Especially if you look young. You're a young looking HasanAbi head and you want to no longer see ads at the top of the hour when you log on to Twitch. at twitch.tv/HasanAbi because there's a 3-minute ad break. And now you have to fucking upload your scan. And if your parents look young, you got to go find your grandparents to come and upload their face so that, you know, they can allow you to see this kind of explicit content. It's really messed up. It's really terrifying. But of course, ultimately, at the top of the hour, the 3-minute ad break comes for you regardless, unless you subscribe at the time being. You don't have to upload your face to do that. Okay, here's the 3-minute ad break now. You can also get gifted a sub if you're lucky, I guess, by someone else who has uploaded their face to the website and their ID. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Scanning Granny's face at the funeral to log into X videos.
A present facial, like a present human being, eyes open, maybe blinking, showing some sign of life in order to be alive. So again, to understand, the reason why I'm against any technology like this, period, is this is gaming. This is a entertainment medium, all right? If we're getting to the point where data collection is so bad, not just for children, but for adults, that we are now requiring like visual like scans of our faces in order to grant yeses or nos and bypass a threshold of being 18, that's not okay at all. So to understand, this is very similar to a process that kind of happens in China as well. I believe over there they actually do it with children just to make sure that, you know, they're over the age of 18 to access certain games for longer than I believe it's an hour or maybe 30 minutes a day. Which again, that's like the Chinese standard. That's a country known for violating human rights and violating human like privacy. It shouldn't be a standard over here.
I like that. We don't take any of the good parts of China and we just only look at the bad parts, like the aspects of Chinese existence that even I, Xi's biggest dick rider, refuse to come to terms with. You know what I mean? Like, this is like some of the things that I regularly talk critically about with respect to China. And America's like, no high-speed rail, no even development, no rapid development whatsoever. You're not even going to have, at this point, if you live in a rural area, you can't even pay for healthcare in a reasonable, healthcare that is like basically in a reasonable distance, like no hospitals for you. And then the only thing we're doing is the surveillance state beefing itself up so we can figure out whether you're, young looking or not.
Here. And again, there is no 100% confirmation that this information isn't used to help these companies train their algorithms even better. Again, I don't believe that these big billion-dollar companies are not using any speck of data that they cannot get their hands on for bettering their own algorithms. There's very little oversight from what I've seen, and there's very little anybody can do to prove that they're not actually violating the law and their own terms of conditions. Just, do you actually trust Epic? Do you actually trust any of these companies, period, is what I'm going to ask you. So to me, this is super duper wild and ought to see that just to confirm age in video games, or it's not just video games, just for parents to confirm ages, we're getting to the point where actually sending like live facial checks running through algorithms to confirm validity in this case. Now, people have said, is this a violation of your privacy? I would 100% say yes. No video game.
Isn't it a bit weird that this is happening, but background checks before being able to purchase firearms are basically non-existent? Bring up a very good point. Well, one's protected by the Second Amendment, brother.
No movie, no.
The other is technically protected by the First, but the United States of America don't give a hell. They don't give a dang about the First Amendment, let's be real. I know a lot of people say, oh, I need my Second to protect the First, but the reality is, in so many states right now, 35 to be exact, if you have participated in a right, your First Amendment right to engage with the boycott, divestment, and sanctions on the State of Israel movement, that is a peaceful movement, you cannot be a public school teacher, for example. Like, advocacy for Palestinian rights are illegal if you want to hold a position. If you want to be willingly employed, gainfully employed. It's absolutely unimaginable, but it is the reality. Okay? We don't care about We don't really care about the First Amendment, really. This kind of stuff happens regularly.
No piece of music, nothing is ever a requirement that this needs to be a thing. This shouldn't ever even become a thing. Now, the reason I can see this access, like the service kind of existing, is for games like, I would assume, Call of Duty Warzone or Fortnite or a lot of these free-to-play games that kids are all in now. And, you know, it's not just the fact that kids are accessing these services that are filled with all these dark patterns and gambling, like through skin boxes, battle passes, so on and so forth. And, of course, to understand at the core of it, when kids play these multiplayer services, there is a shit ton of data being collected on them, okay? When a child, a 13, 12-year-old kid, plays a game like Call of Duty Warzone, if they lie about their age and there's no parental checking done right there, a lot of these companies can technically be violating the law by capturing that child's speech, by capturing their text, by capturing whatever data that they are producing, and then sending it for analysis. And I think this implementation is designed just so that these companies can weed out potential issues like that. But that also just raises the question why these companies are harboring all of that data to begin with. Obviously, it's to make a more addictive product, but at the end of the day, maybe these companies and maybe these games should be considering what kind of data that they are harvesting. If companies who produce M-rated video games or video games that collect this kind of data, then I believe the simplest age gate should literally just be a credit card or a debit card right there. There's actually adult services on the internet that pretty much require you to have access to a credit card or a debit card in order to prove that you are 18 and above. Now, you might be wondering, well, Muda, how is a credit card going to be a filter for somebody at the age of 18? I personally believe that's an actual more effective filter than just requiring companies or giving them the ability to actually do facial scanning. Because personally, in my opinion, if you're a child with a credit card or a debit card, you're probably connected to a parent's account anyways. And if you're, for instance, purchasing adult service.
So all of these things, here's one aspect of what Muda is saying that's like kind of correct. I'll give you a different perspective than what he's saying. There is fundamentally no difference between none of these safeguards 100% will stop you from cheating it. Okay? There is not a lot of difference between like clicking on a thing that says you're, you know, born in 1919 versus some other extra steps, extra measures that they put. The more you add safeguards, it doesn't necessarily like legitimately prevent children from accessing these websites. You put them there. Obviously, some are more effective than others, but the reason why you put them there is so that you're stopping at least like a large percentage of people who don't want to take the initiative. Okay? I think that you need to make it difficult, certainly. I think you need to make it difficult. I am in favor of a level of difficulty. Are you going to cover the Colleen Ballinger stuff? Are you okay? What happened now? Are you a time traveler? Like, are you a mobile chatter from a month ago or something? Yeah, chatter's logging on from an Internet Explorer from a goddamn pager from 1993. Anyway, you have to do a cost-benefit analysis on every single circumstance, every single new safeguard measure that you put in place, and I think that this doesn't meet the muster. This doesn't pass the smell test. I think that it's not great. Especially when you're talking about like AI face scanning or uploading your identification to a website that's not very protective.
Services like OnlyFans, for instance, through your credit card, your parents should have a
What is happening? Do I have like a bunch of gray names in the chat being like, watch this person's TikTok? How are they getting clapped so quick? Are we getting botted? You can get botted on, you can get chat botted on Twitch too? What the hell? They give you petitions and call scripts? I don't know what's happening here. It's weird.
A pretty clear view on what it is that you're doing with your credit card purchase. And if you are using your parents' credit card, it's very easy to A, monitor that as a parent, and then B, remove that access entirely right there and then from the financial service. I don't believe that we should be allowing any of these services to start facially scanning us. I get that they already probably do that, but giving them the keys to the VIP is just not the actual play to be having here. So I wanted to look behind the misinformation. No, this isn't used to age-gate children out of M-rated games. That's stupid to begin with. Companies would never want younger audiences to never play M-rated games. That's more than half of their fucking player base. The other reality is, obviously, these companies want to prevent some of these children from giving up their data on an 18-plus game, or, they have to be above 13 per COPA compliance, so that when they are giving up their data, these companies can confirm that they are of age to give up their personal private data. And I think this is what it's pretty much implemented for. But yeah, I still don't think this is a good idea. I still don't think the ESRB promoting any form of facial scanning tech to be regular in video gaming is a good idea. We're getting to the point where privacy is literally non-existent, okay? And it's becoming more non-existent day by day. I think this is a generally bad idea. I think giving any company the ability, even if they claim that they're deleting all of your information as soon as they're done with it, is not a good idea, period. Time and time we've seen companies get hacked. Time and time we've seen data leaks occur. And the less data that I think we give any of these companies, the better. And, if the ESRB gets mad at that, then they can kick rocks. If companies are mad that they're not getting their permits for facial clearing technology, then kick rocks, okay? This is a free part of the world, and it should be a private part of the world, too. Companies should only get as much data as they legally require. And if video games are so invasive and collect so much data, then maybe that's on the actual company right there. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mutahar, and yeah. A lot to unpack over here, but I wanted to talk about it because I think it's a legendarily stupid idea, and I hope it doesn't go through. I am